hello to our gold participants from around the world. I'm Fiona Lang-Sharp, IBCLC Public Relations Manager and MC for Gold Learning. I have the pleasure of sitting down and talking to Tamara Drenttel Brown today. Very excited to have you here, Tamara, and she is going to be bringing to us a presentation titled Contextualizing Breastfeeding Trends in Lebanon. Welcome, and I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, first of all, I would love it, Tamara, if you could introduce yourself to the audience and tell them a little bit about yourself, and then we'll move on and we'll talk a little bit about your topic.
Okay, let's see, where do I start? Um, I'm American. I was born in Minnesota, and my husband and I met in graduate school in Arizona. And after a whirlwind courtship, we moved to Beirut, Lebanon. Ironically, he was getting his PhD in history, and I got my master's in public health at the American University of Beirut there. And
Oh,
And so we originally got a master's in Middle Eastern Studies together, and so we had that interest. But we
oh, wow.
literally got married and a week later moved to Beirut, both started new graduate programs. And I've always been interested in maternal health, but breastfeeding, honestly, I had never even seen anyone breastfeed in my life. And my second year of my graduate program, I was I was pregnant, and so of course I started doing research on, how to have a healthy pregnancy and breastfeeding. And it shocked me that breastfeeding rates were so low in Lebanon. It was something I'd never thought about before. Especially there's a lot of environmental issues. The water is contaminated. Formula is very, very expensive. Even health issues. 1 in 3 children have asthma. 1 in 4 women get breast cancer. Diarrhea is a leading cause of death in children, and so it is really a pressing public health issue. And so during my master's in public health, I just kept doing more and more research on breastfeeding. And then I gave birth to my son Eli. I gave birth to him 7 days after or I'm sorry, 5 days after I finished 7 finals.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, yes, I was praying he would last and sit and bake until I could finish all my classes. And so, and that's when I kind of just jumped into the breastfeeding community. And at the time, there was nothing. There were no
Right.
Lamaze classes, prenatal support classes, birth coaches, doulas, midwives. They didn't exist. So
Hmm.
everything I learned was online and through my mom friends. And that was one of the inspirations actually of starting. Um, I have a private online support group for breastfeeding moms. It started for moms just in Lebanon, and now there's,
Right.
I think, 60 countries, somewhere around there, lots of countries represented, because women just, there was nowhere for them to go to get credible, valid information, support, and encouragement. And so, and then we have to do a practicum for our public health, the master's to finish. And then, so I ended up getting my breastfeeding specialist credential, and then my lactation educator, counselor, and I became a LALH league leader. And then I finally became an IBCLC last April.
Wow.
So that's kind of, I guess,
Your your
a
journey.
quick brief history of yes, and I still get, I'm not, we lived in Lebanon from 2008 to 2015, and I
Right.
still get emails every day from moms showing me
Oh,
pictures of their babies and how proud they are for breastfeeding and how
oh.
beautiful they look. And so, yeah,
So a
yeah,
lasting
it's
legacy, a
really,
lasting legacy. It's amazing what happens when we take the time to set up some of these peer-to-peer groups, and you've obviously seen that a lot as a Lesh League leader.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
I still run my group. I have 9 admins now to help me because it's gotten so big, but
big.
I still run. I still run my groups and yeah, and we go back to Lebanon. We try to go back every year, a few times a year. It's pretty much I had to go back for surgery and I had like 10 different friends fighting over who got to take care of me. So we really, really, really created an amazing family and support network.
That's wonderful. That's
So
wonderful. Well, it's so great to hear your journey and how it all transpired and why you are where you are. And I know that you're loving it where you are right now, which is wonderful. And how long have you now been in Sharjah now?
Yeah, so we moved from Beirut to Sharjah in the summer of 2015. So this is our second year. And it's been a it's the United Arab Emirates and Lebanon are completely different, even though
Oh,
we're still in the
interesting.
Middle East. It's been a
Yes.
culture shock.
Oh,
Yeah, but but no, we really we're enjoying our new life. We miss our life in Lebanon, but
right.
um,
Takes time.
we're settled here. It feels good to be settled.
Good.
So it
Good. Well,
does.
that's
It does.
wonderful.
So
That's really great.
yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about, tell me a little bit more about this topic. And I know that I mean, this has been part of your life and your lifestyle for a long time. Do you think there's a lot of detachment even outside of Lebanon? Are there some unique things that you think that you saw within Lebanon in those trends in breastfeeding that we don't see anywhere else in the world? Or do you think that they sort of line up generally with what's happening internationally?
I think it lines up with what's happening internationally. I was actually shocked. The Middle East has one of the lowest breastfeeding rates in the world,
Mm.
which it shocked me because in the Quran, which is the Muslim, it's equivalent to the not equivalent, but it's like the Muslim or the Christian Bible. It recommends breastfeeding for 2 years and beyond.
Yes, I've heard
And
that
so
before.
I just assumed, before we moved to the Middle East, that it's very pro breastfeeding, and so you would think it never occurred to me. But then you bring in all these cultural and different barriers that happen,
Right, right.
and the rates just aren't where they used to be.
Yeah,
So,
that's
a few
incredible.
decades ago, the breastfeeding rates were much more higher. Yeah, how it's changed. And
It,
the mothers in Lebanon told me that all their grandmothers breastfed, but that their mothers, they wanted to be more like the American women and the European women
right.
who bottle fed. They wanted to be more modern and Western. And so, the Western trends have kind of encroached upon
Mhm.
other cultures and countries and changed. But I'm noticing kind of a backlash against that now, and now more moms want to breastfeed, and they're
I
trying
was,
hard, and they're doing
yeah,
everything they can.
yeah, I was curious to know, is the trend now shifting again as as we're seeing the demand go up, certainly in, in Europe, and of course in North America, we're seeing the demand go up from the consumer. So from the mothers, the families, there seems to be a trend in, you know, what is happening. We get far more prenatal calls now than I've ever seen before, which is really good. Mothers are
Yeah.
worried, before they have their babies. Am I going to be able to do this? This is the one thing that is important to me. So is that sort of what you're seeing too?
Yes, I get a ton of emails from pregnant moms, or even moms that the breastfeeding experience their first time didn't work like they
Right?
wanted to or what they
Yes.
expected, and then they're not even pregnant, but they're calling saying, I really want this to work for the second one. What can I do differently? What resources are out there?
Yeah.
And they haven't released, UNICEF is doing, they're working on new breastfeeding statistics in the Middle East. I think it gets released in 2017.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
not
Right.
sure how much the breastfeeding rates have increased right now, but
Sure.
I know just anecdotally,
Mhm.
um, it's just amazing to see all these moms that really want to breastfeed and are trying and doing
Yeah.
everything they can.
Yeah, this to me is very fascinating to see that we are getting mums come back after they have had a lactation experience where things did not turn out the way that they had hoped. We were talking about this the other day with Amy Solinsky, who's in Germany, and because she's talking about grief and breastfeeding at our conference. But what's really good is the fact that women are not staying away. So they're not internalizing. I mean, some obviously would. I realize that, but because they would internalize it and then the next child comes along and they just say, well, it didn't work for me the first time, so I'm just going to do what worked, you know? But there is a change. I absolutely agree with you. You're seeing that women are still pushing forward, which is absolutely fantastic. So it means that somehow along the way they're realizing that there is community help, that there is a way to do this, and they're just trying to navigate through the process and figure out what they need to do in order to change the outcome for that second, third, and consequent children as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I'm glad, and I'm really interested to hear, more of your work. But we'll definitely hear more, I know, during our conference, and we'll talk a little bit about that again just in a moment. But finally, before we wrap things up today,
Uh-huh.
Tamara, can you just tell me what are you looking forward to sharing in all of this with our delegates while you're here with us?
There's a few things that I'm really excited about. One, and I feel like it's unique. I'm on a lot of lactation consultant boards, and a lot of the lactation consultants talk about how there's not a lot of collaboration together, and that there can be competition or bad mouthing. And we have very few specialists in Lebanon, and we have no national. I mean, everyone's cell phones are the hotline. And everyone, there's so few specialists. We all got together and we made a resource sheet with all of our names. We agreed to charge the same rate. Um, we do free telephone calls. We refer mothers to different people based on the area, and so just this national collaboration of
Love that.
lactation consultants,
Mhm.
it just it's I don't know if other countries do this, but for a country with almost 6 million people and we have three IBCLCs and just a few specialists,
Right.
it's I mean there's such a dearth that needs filling, and
Yes.
they just go above and beyond, and we there's a lot of things that Lebanon doesn't have available um, that I feel like specialists elsewhere in, the West take for granted. You tell moms to rent hospital grade pumps. We
Yeah.
don't have those, or to
Right.
use SNS, or hydrogel pads. I mean, everything. That's one of the reasons I started Galactablog, is to try to give people DIY options that don't have all of these
Right.
resources,
Yeah.
or an Amazon or Target or something. And the other thing that I'm really excited about sharing, the mothers in Lebanon, the breastfeeding mothers, they have literally turned their passion. They've started NGOs. They've gotten the maternity leave law changed. Lebanon signed the WHO formula marketing code till 4 years of age. They're running community groups, support groups. It is so amazing and exciting, the initiatives that they are taking on, and they are really they're pioneers, and they're improving maternal, infant, and child health in the region.
Wow.
And so I'm going to talk a little bit about all, the initiatives that they're doing to normalize breastfeeding and to help protect and promote it. I'm really just in awe at what they're doing. So
That's very interesting. I think that they're facing a lot of adversity. It sounds like in terms of, they're trying to move things forward, but here they are, just plugging away and keeping things going. I anticipate that there will be things that we can pull from your presentation that will work anywhere around the world because
yes.
when you put minds together and you put mothers together and breastfeeding families, they often, start to brainstorm some amazing and incredible ways in order to move, lactation forward, breastfeeding forward, and of course the credential as well. So it will be great.
And
I'm very excited.
yeah, and that's actually one of my goals. Like I want to give people in other resource poor countries ideas. And,
Totally.
if people, so Yeah, this is really exciting. I want to thank you again for having me.
Oh no, thank you. Really appreciate you, and thank you for being here and chatting with us today. It really has been great just to sit down and learn some more about you and what you're doing. And I encourage all of our listening audience right now, head on over to our website at www.goldlactation.com. Tomorrow we'll be speaking at our Gold Lactation Online Conference 2017. You can check out the schedule on the day that she's speaking. It is slated for Tuesday, the 25th of April, and you can check out the local time for yourself. Well, thank you so much for being with us here today. It's been lovely hearing your story. Very passionate and very compassionate too in Lebanon. It's just great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you to our listening audience again for tuning in. Come back for more, and we'll look forward to having you back. Bye bye for now.